On this episode, A Struggle Beyond the Decade, we will be teaming up with the Veterans Adventure Group mountaineering team for another go at Washington State's highest peak of Mount Rainier. Last season, 80% of the team made the summit, as we all had to battle the difficulties and challenges of the climb in different ways. But this year, I wanted to come back to bring my experiences to help out and see a friend of mine make the summit after 2 previous attempts. Plus, I had a vision of a major affirmation that will take place on Rainier, and I had to see that through. This climbing season will be different, as we send out 30 new climbers mixed with veterans from every branch of service with their eyes set on Rainier's summit. So step out into the cold of night and tie in for another episode of A Struggle Beyond the Decade.
I got the list pulled up if you want to go through it. Starts off with your backpack.
Got it.
Trekking poles.
Got it.
Ice axe.
Got it.
After harness, you got at least two carabiners.
Yeah.
Carabiner. Headlamp.
I've got a. Mine. Hey, how are you, sweetie?
Try it on? How much medium weights are you taking?
You feel like there's not with that one?
Yeah, I was warm last year with this one. I had one.
A smaller one or a
And
bigger
yeah,
one?
last year was cold, right?
There's your smile. Give him a smile. Give him a smile. There's a smile. What?
As everyone begins to settle into the staging house to check gear and prepare themselves for an early morning step-off, I'm reminded of what's to come, which for most is the unknown. You see, we all travel through the darkness hoping not to lose our way. And the ego is an interesting thing in how it behaves and has the ability to drive the person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance.
What's up, man? Oh, I'm feeling great. Pumped. Excited to get up there. Excited to take 2 trips to Camp Muir.
Not 1, but 2.
Yeah, I know. And the worst part of the climb for me is getting to Camp Muir, so I get to do it twice.
It's good training.
Yeah, it is, man. It'll be good for when we go to Denali. Be really good for that.
Who do you got here with you today? Tell me about some of the people you got.
Got McDermott, who's he was my super senior. He's an assaultman. He fought in Steel Curtain in 05. And then we got Henning, climbed with us. He's a sniper, and 2-1 with us. We were all in 2-1 together. And then me and Mikey were assaultmen together, so we were peers. We got yelled at by him a little bit, but mainly our seniors who he trained. And Mikey was a part of our program with the nonprofit. And, you know, one of our things is we promise our veterans that they utilize our program, go to work, do all the holistic styles of healing, and prove to us that they are healing. And, you know, we talk to them, basically put them through an evaluation, and we tell them that we'll get you up a mountain or take you on a skydive or whatever with Veterans Adventure Group. So Mikey is one of the people that was in our program, and he's turned his life around, so we're going to, you know, punish him on a mountain for it.
Living proof.
Living proof, that's right.
Living proof right there. Yep.
I would wear like a silk weight base layer though, because otherwise the sun.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have Matt slather the
Yeah, I was gonna
sunscreen
say
on
you
me.
just slather up the sunscreen.
Don't let me
or,
forget it. Every time I go to the store, I forget something. We gotta get some today.
As long as someone rubs up my creamy
I
sides.
was gonna say, don't have to get deep in there, man.
I'm in.
Look at
I'm
this
all
spray
about it.
bottle.
I'm not mad about it.
This has a lot.
Yeah, it was embarrassment, but you won't stop though, I'm sure.
All right, Justin, what are we doing, man? What are we getting into?
Oh, we're getting ready to climb Rainier. So
Again.
yeah, again. So yeah.
Got a different crew this time.
Yeah, we got 29 total this time. Go around. So,
Yeah.
29. Yeah, it's gonna be a big group. So first group heads up tomorrow morning. So today we're just going through the process of getting everything packed up and ready to go. So after that, most of us are gonna be on the mountain all week and start rotating groups out. So
Fucking star of the show's here now. We can start. I didn't even have my camera out until you got here.
It came out instantly.
You're the first 2 minutes of this show.
Well, I had some tell you all about hiking up in shorts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
Just do not forget to put sunscreen on the backs of your knees. Because I didn't do that, and I got a gigantic blister.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You also got the broken axe award of that year.
Somebody, when I bought this, they told me not to buy it because it won't last, but that wasn't true. This bottle is...
We can't. You got to take that out because we're not gonna be able to. That's not one of our sponsors.
I know.
Yeah.
So.
Is it Copper Tone? Kick Rocks.
I don't even...
Kick Rock. Oh, it's Banana Boat. Fuck right off. Get that out of here. Okay, hi. I'm Ken. Ken Hardwood. Sometimes my friends call me Three Bills. That's a whole nother story about times in college. Sometimes the pickings are slim, but that's kind of an oxymoronic statement. How I got 3 bills. Also, I have a couple of buddies named Bernie Bagswell and Gary Strongbone, and those guys are part of my alpaca family, and we like to reside on a houseboat down in Kentucky on Lake Cumberland.
Tell me about one of your good friends, John Rogers. You guys are on this climbing expedition, Mount Rainier.
Yeah.
John Rogers, you guys have had some history together.
Yeah, John Rogers, he's good people. Kind of shy sometimes, kind of a little bit aloof in the social world. But John Rogers and I, we were in the same unit back in the military way back when, and I was kind of his boss for a little bit. I'm coming from Indiana. I'm here because of that guy sitting down right over there, Justin Jello Cups Maticek. He and I and the other 2 dudes around me, we're all in the same company. Back in the day, I was actually one of Justin's and Sean's first team leaders back in Pathfinder Company. We did a deployment to Afghanistan together, and I've been in touch with Justin forever. And when he started Veterans Adventure Group, I liked talking to him about it and things like that, and he finally convinced me to come out here and do a climb. So I made the journey today after work, and we're going to go kick Rainier's ass tomorrow. So
really good to see these guys again. It's been too long in between though. 10 years is a long time. This is something I've always wanted to do, climb Mount Rainier. It's been on my bucket list for a long time, and Cameron contacted me and he was like, hey, let's go do this. I'm like, all right, let's go.
I got your Nalgene, bro.
What's going on? What are we doing?
Dude, we are fucking throwing gear out, man. I got like a bunch of fucking helmets back here.
Did they think you were working for some like...
I got a little nervous when I went up there and bought fucking 12 cans of fuel. They don't think I'm getting a bomb together, do they?
You didn't buy fertilizer, did you?
I mean, I picked a little bit up on the way. Dude, we're gonna go get a burger and a beer. You wanna go?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you do. Oh yeah, man. I'm glad you also appreciate some lead, man.
Yeah.
Seeing lines again after 3 years.
One love.
One love. For a summer too. Yeah, my poles have a real small basket on them. To get bigger ones.
What does that do, right?
The basket?
The basket thing.
Oh, that's for your trekking poles.
Yeah.
So if you get it on like
But how does the basket?
snow, but snow is like not super packed, it can fall through the ice, so a bigger
okay.
basket will bigger
good look.
displacement.
Oh, appreciate it, dude. Knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge. Learning occurred.
Oh yeah, sweet. Oh, I gotta get this buff.
Big blunt still burning in the black big Benz. Bad bitch sucking dick, bout to dent my rim. Duffel bag full of hundreds, let her spend my tens. Gala told you pussy niggas, all I do is win. Rolex full of booger, lose my dogs in the pen. You fucking with a bitch, then she gotta be a 10. Diamonds on the...
This is my ranger buddy Austin. He and Jello Cups just finished up the recon climb on Mount Denali, which they summited a few weeks prior. Austin and Justin are a complete opposite personality, so I can't imagine what 2 weeks on a mountain was like.
I gotta give you shit about something, man.
No, I know. That's what I was like, because when you're sitting there on the mountain, you're always wondering, like, I know I'm pissing Justin off. I'm doing something, but he's so quiet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's bugging him.
No, it goes both ways.
It's my TP consumption.
TP consumption, man. Don't worry about that shit.
I'll take it. Oh, I know. I was getting worried there too at 17 camp with no TP left.
treat me a certain way, and as I progressed, like nothing ever changed. Like they would throw me a bad pass, and it's like still my fault. Like 18 months later,
They're still reminding you of that shit. Like, remember that bad pass you threw in 1942?
well, they treat me like I never changed at all, and they'll throw me a bad pass.
Could be that they're getting better too. Maybe you're just the same.
I'm getting better than them, and that's the problem. They don't want to admit that.
Hating on you. So tell me about the redemption. This is an important thing here.
It's no redemption. Well, it depends. I mean, if I do awesome, then yeah. I could have made it the first time, but I was woefully unprepared. That's
Third degree burns.
Well, I wouldn't say third degree, but it was pretty bad. I've never had a sunburn like that. And that was I was too fat to fit in my pants, and I was too lazy to get pants that fit. So I was kind of doomed from the start because of my lack of motivation. Because I think physical fitness wise, I believe I actually could have made it that time. Yeah, so the first time I was too fat to fit in my pants, okay? But I wasn't necessarily too fat to summit. Because I wasn't, the second time I was just too fucking fat. I think I would have made it the first time.
So life, basketball, and mountaineering.
If you ever fucking climb a mountain in shorts, you have to put sunscreen on the back of your legs. And again, that speaks to the laziness and the lack of agency and just the lack of thinking shit through and getting shit done. Because to be honest, it did occur to me. It's you know what about the backs of my legs? I was nah. Because I'm lazy, man. It's nah, I don't do that.
So if it's not the redemption, you got your crew here. You got your old crew.
It's a cool experience. I mean, it's only beginning, man. I don't see it as a redemption, especially since these little kids did it recently. I think I needed to do more than that for a true redemption story. I would like to climb Mount Baker, and we need to go back to Mount Adams, because then I would have Baker, Adams, Hood, and Rainier. So that's pretty much all the big mountains in Washington.
You got anything planned for the big hero moment?
I don't have a plan. I hope that we'll do it. I was thinking maybe what they could do, and far be it, from me to say how to run badge, because I'm just a pair of ragged claws scuttling across the floors of silent seas. But if we could switch up the mountains that we do for our practice run, that would give everyone. We would get all the Cascades under our belt within a couple years.
Other than that, you feeling good?
Yeah, I'm fine. My heel is sore, but whatever. It was already like that. It's from basketball too much. That's whatever. I tore my UCL. It doesn't matter for this, but yeah, I've had a lot of injuries. I hurt my elbow really bad. In fact, I believe the UCL runs along here. I tore it kind of in both places because I got hurt. I got jammed bad. Somebody kind of went for the ball and they hurt me pretty bad one time, and I got torn. It was all black and blue here. And then another time I was guarding someone and some maniac came running and he pushed my arm back very far because it was like an arm bar, because there was a big dude standing here and then some fucking maniac comes running as fast as he can. Pushed it very far. So I tore my UCL in 2 places and my heel is sore, but I think I'll be fine now. Because we're middle-aged, and I think a lot of us have damage at this point, and that's why actually those kids, they kind of stole our thunder because they're kids and they already did it, but it's kind of easier for them because they're not damaged, because they never tore their UCL in two different places in one fucking year. So for them, it's kind of easy in a way if you're a kid. And you have no awareness of the danger. It's probably really fun. It's like a snow fight. It's like a snow day. It's just like a snow day, as far as your awareness of the danger.
Snow day at Rainier. Bring your children. Well, shit. You ready to kick some ass then?
I'm ready. I'm back in black.
Oh, shit.
to the top. That's the way to do it with nonprofits. It's like, if you really are running a nonprofit, you're helping everybody, so partnering with everybody, as long as they're, vetted. Because there's a lot of nonprofits out there. Because, you only have to put 2% of your money back in your mission to stay legal. So you can take 98% of them funds and buy whatever. That's that Wounded Warrior Project got caught up, doing that. So as long as you find people like Aaron or Justin that are just super great dudes, it makes life a lot easier.
It's like fruit stuff, chocolate cake, or chocolate fudge stuff, and then angel food cake and whipped cream.
Sounds delicious.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian?
right now. Thanks.
You want one?
Yeah. I did.
Of course, man. Okay, first of all, I was the best, the coolest. 0351 assaultman, no big deal.
Right on.
Do they even have
No, they don't. They face those out. They're so cool. They were Smalls, yeah.
Come on, old school, brother.
Yeah, dude, those Smalls. The old school 0351s were dragons, but yeah, dude, they don't have us anymore. They're like, these guys are way too high speed for the infantry. We have to get rid of these guys.
Right.
So they kept the snipers and stuff.
That's 24 hours from Planet Cetos at Lake, and then 13 and a half from Salt Lake to here.
3 days.
Yeah, the drive from Salt Lake to here is not too bad, but from Nashville to Salt Lake, that was sucked.
What do you do?
It's 5 a.m. and we're on our way to Paradise Camp to get this thing started. The few of us in the vehicles feeling normalized to the expectations of the climb. I love this drive because it brings me back to the feelings where I thrive and where the best version of myself always shows up.
We have so much gear loaded down this truck.
Getting it slowly but surely. It's about 10:30. Stepped off at 8:20, so about 2 hours in. Matt's over there shortening up his poles, like he needs help with that. And then some people are shedding, some people are layering. It's like people are in pretty good spirits. It's been a pretty good climb so far.
I'm old Asian, I guess if you judge me, that's kind of gross, right? But
How you feeling, Sean?
what do you say?
I said, how you feeling?
Rock and roll. What if they're like a gay show? Would you judge me? If they have a gay show like skills?
The team is looking strong as we make our push to Camp Mirror.
Put it on top, yeah. You work to get some money. I work so hard, I got, yeah. You work to get some money.
Research shows that separating or shifting a cultural environment closely correlates with the increased incidence of depression or other mental illnesses. But veterans taking the time to regularly remove themselves from urban settings and spend more time in nature can greatly benefit our minds and body. Replacing the displacement with creative problem solving, teamwork, and extreme outdoor expeditions can drastically improve by both disconnecting from technology and reconnecting the self with nature. Participants in this Climb with Veterans Adventure Group will be backpacking, living, and working through nature and challenges for multiple days, during which time they do not have the access to technology or other luxuries of normal living convenience.
First we're going to do is kind of fam them up on gear and equipment. You know, I can't say, hey, hook into your belay loop and we're going to lower you down this kind of tricky spot if they hook into their gear loop and all of a sudden breaks and they're dead. So understanding nomenclature and what things are. That goes from an ice axe. We talk about, you know, you got your pick, your adze, your shaft, and your spike, and knowing that nomenclature, the different types of ice axes you'll see up here, how an anchor, snow anchor can be used, whether they're pounded in. Obviously this is an example of be pounded in all the way, but you can use them as dead men's, you can use them as that. This is a basic 3-to-1, our rescue system that we'll cover and go over. We'll go over that with them. We got different types of carabiners and what they'll see, nomenclature for the carabiners, why we use a wired gate as opposed to a regular gate, different things that they'll have, self-locking, twist locks, you know, Red You're Dead with the Petzl, which is my favorite kind of mountaineering carabiner right there. And then obviously the different parts of the harnesses. We got the different types of pulleys, Prusik minding, little ones, tie blocks, different things to use for Prusiks. Go over min-force gear for a team, for an individual, how everything can be used to be supplemented, how a shovel or a snow pole can be used as a good dead man's in case you don't have an extra snow anchor and different things like that, how to coil rope management is huge, that saves us time on the mountain. Once we kind of establish that baseline, then we're good to move over the rope corral, go over basic knots. Once they have that in their head, then we'll get them working on that on flat ground, get them comfortable with that. And then Aaron, you and I, we're gonna go check out that crevasse and we'll be lowering people in and hauling them out. So that'll be kind of our culmination event.
How you feeling so far?
Feeling really good, actually. It was a pretty awesome climb yesterday. The scenery's, you know, second to none. It's nice out. Everyone's in good spirits. The mullet's flowing. Had a stick of juicy fruit this morning, so you know I'm amped. So ready to get these crampons on and go do the thing.
And a lot of times that might be a little foreign to you.
While we have you guys here quick too, I'll run over the route real fast while we can see some climbers on it. So we got pretty much the College Glacier here. We're gonna walk across this glacier, go up that gravel scree field there, which sucks. Immediately afterwards, where it looks like you kind of see the summit, it's not the summit, but you can see you see the rope team up there.
Yeah, there's a rope team
up there. So we'll be cutting across and going up there. So you can that kind of helps put in perspective. Where they are is still a few hundred feet below the summit. So.
Snow anti-ball plates, all right? And what that does is it kind of, the snow builds up and you walk, there's a little bit of flex here.
Then you're gonna have a Prusik that's also on the rope above or below your knot that you're tied into, okay? And
how you're gonna want to
when
see
you
it.
do that,
Efficient people you want in the front and then the back, right? The reason why is your back person, they kind of see the big picture and they can kind of help command people, hey, like give slack, more tension, whatnot. Person in the front, obviously they're setting the pace. They're making sure they're going on the right route. They're looking for any dangers ahead. If you're in the front or back, you need to do a retrace figure 8. I'm doing something completely different here. Right, at least 6 inch of a pigtail. All right, then from there, if you're in the front or back, you're gonna coil a little extra rope.
Capture this, capture that, and do a master point right there. Okay. Now, in reality, do we need to always build?
Hey, you want to turn this thing around?
All right, and so what do we need next?
All right, so pretty much what we're trying to decide is when we want to leave for the summit. So we got two options. Option one is we push out around like 10 o'clock. The issue, we're kind of running to the guide group, so I guess they're going to be around 11, so we want to be before them. It's getting stuck behind the sucks. So push around 10, we'll probably hit the summit right around sunrise or so. It's going to be colder, obviously. But we'll have good snow, and on the way back down, we'll still have good snow for most of the trip back down.
As the first 3 teams get up and prepare to make its summit push from Camp Merritt at just above 10,000 feet, the mood is quiet and the night is cold, which means we have the perfect window and green light to make the climb. So as the teams pack up, rope up, don their crampons, and establish radio checks, we are primed and ready on time to step off with our eyes set on the next checkpoint at Ingram's Flats.
Maybe that's where we can do our 1, 2, 3 to the top. But seriously, that has to happen.
Wake up Camp Merritt.
Yep, fuck them. Hey.
Not all of them.
That's what they give for trying to steal our fucking jet boils.
That's exactly right. Some assholes come over here trying to take our jet boils. Fuck them. They're gonna wake up. Then when we get back and someone's pissed off, we'll blame it on the thieves. On my team, it was Jello Cups, Matt, Freddie Six Toes Hardy, and John Rogers, and we're on a 4-man team. There are 2 other 4-man teams also going, and we started in the last order of movement. We were actually the 3rd team going, and all of us were in the same unit, so it was a little bit different with our rope team because we've all worked together a lot and been on a lot of deployments together and things like that, and so we're pretty unique in that we like to move a little bit, and we're in the 3rd order of movement, and right before we got to the first rock section, we was kind of, or I guess it was right after the first rock section, we kind of bypassed the other 2 teams.
Matachek wanted to go.
Yeah, Jello Cups. He didn't like the pace that was being set. Even though the pace, I will say, was good. The pace was just fine. But he wanted to go, so we went around and we took off and we busted ass. Huh?
Yeah, how did that happen? How did that go down? How did that get introduced?
Well, I think we had discussed it slightly about what our hit time was, what we wanted to get up there and do, and he knew the mountain real well. I think this was his 11th or 12th summit that we accomplished. So he knows in his head like what time we need to be at what place, and I'm back there, giving time hacks nonstop, always telling him, hey, it's been 1 hour, we're hitting this, terrain feature at this time, and keeping him alert on the timeline. And we hit the disappointment cleaver, which is this big rock section that just sticks out, and it's pretty linear, and it's pretty gnarly, straight up and down essentially. And we hit that, and we motored through that feature in I think an hour and 15 minutes. And by the time we got to the top, we had some distance between the other 2 teams, which could be good, which could be bad. There are 2 ways to look at that a little bit. But we got up there on top of the cleaver, and we waited to make a link up with the other teams, and the other teams, I'm sure, were taking a little more time. It was a very sketchy area. I mean, just during that part of the climb, we ran across 2 climbers. That one was just, he was gone. He was just sitting in the rocks. And this is in the middle of the night. We stepped off at 10 p.m. So this is about almost midnight, and he's just sitting in the rocks, done. He was having a altitude sickness, a real bad case of it, and he was looking pretty worse for the wear. And we met up on him, and Justin started talking to him. And I was, like I said, I'm the last guy on the rope, so it's about 100 feet or so in between us. So I end up coming up and looking at him, and I see Justin talking to him. So Justin calls me up because he wants me to get something out of his pack. He didn't ask the other 2 guys. He asked me to come up. So I come up to him and I grab some medication for altitude sickness out of his pack. And we give the guy a tablet. The guy's name was John, and we gave him a quick pep talk. Asked him if he wanted a Snickers bar or something like that, and if he needed some more water. And he declined the food and the water, but he did take the medication. And I gave him a quick pep talk. One thing that I was taught when I was young
It was a ranger saying that they would tell me, and they'd say, you know, tough times don't last, but tough men do. And I told him I told him that, and he got a big smile on his face and gave me a fist bump. And I did, quite frankly, if you want to know, if I had to put a mortgage payment on a bet, there's no way I thought that dude was gonna do anything on that mountain that day. I was pretty sure he was probably just gonna go back down. We ended up seeing him within an hour of the summit when we were coming back down, and that dude summited that day after sitting in the rocks completely gone. So that was probably one of the coolest things about the climb for me, is just seeing this guy, and we got to interact and be a part of his life real quick, and motivated him enough and his buddy that they went and accomplished what they set out to. I mean, you wouldn't have been up there unless you want to go to the summit, and they did. And I think that was probably the coolest thing for me personally. I thought that was cooler than even myself hitting the summit, even though it was my first time.
What was going on with the other teams? What, you guys had to end up passing them, but what happened to those other teams?
Well, the other teams, they seem to be just going at a nice steady pace, you know. And you got to remember, our rope team, all known each other for well over a decade, been in different theaters of war together. We know each other, and we kind of went back into that Pathfinder company mindset where you just explode, you know. So it was a dynamic that was completely different than the dynamic of the other two teams, where everybody comes from a different unit, different walk of life. Everyone was completely different in those teams, and most of those guys just met each other 24 hours before. So they were going at a nice pace. But once we hit the summit, we were on the summit about an hour before we saw the next team come. We were coming off, and some of them were looking pretty worn down and beat, because it's hard. There's no doubt about it. It smokes you going up there. So apparently there's this guy. He was a Marine, so you know what we think about them anyway. So he lived up to my expectations there. Just kidding. I like the Marine Corps. Semper Fi. But he got up there and he seemed to be doing fine. We have pictures and videos of him smiling and stuff, and then out of nowhere just decides to have a seizure right there in the middle of the damn crater. I don't know, like, you get up there and maybe it's elation or overstimulation of something, but motherfucker sees up right there on the goddamn crater. So next thing you know, you got guys digging out a spot for a fucking helicopter to land up there and spending 5.5 hours on the summit, which is a big no-go. I mean, you don't got to be a genius or know shit about mountaineering to say you don't want to be on a summit for 5.5 hours. And they had to call in a damn helicopter to come rescue this dude off the damn mountain, which is crazy. You got one guy rubbing him incessantly, trying to get him woke or something. I don't know what was going on. I'm hearing these stories all secondhand, mind you. I wasn't quite there. I saw him walking in smiling, you know, gave me a fist pump. But next thing you know, he's just assed out, getting ready to take a free helicopter ride. Cost taxpayers about $50,000, but you know, it's a whole other story, I suppose. But no, it's like 12 went up, 11 walked back down. That guy got a ride. I'm kind of jealous, to be honest. My feet hurt.
Camp Muir was very entertaining with Mr. Lyons and his epic amount of salami.
You got to call him John Rogers.
Talking to John Rogers here.
John, I was referring to him as Abe Froman. Abe Froman, you know, like Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I was going with Abe Froman, the Salami King of Camp Muir. I mean, the guy had like 6 different types of salami. He had a whole delicatessen there, a loaf of sourdough bread. I think it had mustard and mayo. Mustard and mayo.
He brought a bunch of salami up on the mountain. I mean, more salami than I could carry to even try to weigh out, to be honest with you. I don't know how he carried that fucking pack up there. But plays a lot of basketball. I know he's been hitting the hardwood, which is funny because that's my last name, so that's kind of ironic. But he hits the hardwood a lot, and he takes pictures of homeless dudes in Seattle, which is kind of cool. Rock star.
Oh shit, rock star.
We were probably 600 or 800 feet away from the summit. We'd stopped and I'd check with everybody, and everybody was good. And I remember John saying that he didn't feel that great. He said, but we were too close to turn back now. I said, all right, I'll take that as we're pushing on. And I don't know if I've showed you yet, but I got a great video on my GoPro of us hitting the lip of the crater, coming over, hitting high fives from everybody. And you know, we start walking through, and I'm, you know, giving some direction about what we got to do to get, you know, drop gear and all that stuff.
We'll go hang out here, drop our packs, drop our harnesses, layer up, snack up, and then we can all walk up. Yeah. Look at everybody. Hey, Ron. Hey, Ron. We got up here, bro. We did it.
Seemed fine, coherent. Everything was cool. And then you guys, I was taking off my my harness so I could put my Gore-Tex shell pants on because it was pretty windy, so it started to get a little cold. So you know, I was kind of hanging back, and the three of you guys took off, started walking over to the other side of the crater, and then I noticed John was moving slower than everybody else, and so I went and caught up with him. And he told me he wasn't feeling good, and I was like, well, you know, there's no reason for you to go over there. We're at the summit. Like, I know getting to get the actual highest point is across the crater, but you're here, you're good. We're, you know, let's just go chill out. He's like, nah, man, I gotta make it. I gotta get over it. I said, all right, well, I'll just stay with you then, because I've already done it. So we'll just, you know, if we make it, we make it. If we don't, whatever. And then he started getting wobbly, and I turned him around, and I looking at him in his face. Are you all right? I'm good. And then all of a sudden, his eyes started flipping, and his eyeballs flipping in the back of his head. Kind of freaked me out because I've never actually seen it. You know, you hear about that, never actually seen it before, and so it kind of flipped me out. And he started to go down, and I kept him up, and he kind of came back through. And I thought he was just, you know, altitude had gotten to him. The lack of oxygen, I think he was just like gonna pass out. And then it happened again, and he went. I couldn't hold him up anymore because I was just exhausted, and he went down. And then I was, yeah, it was pretty stressful, pretty dramatic. I don't know that I want to lead the team up Mount Rainier again anytime soon.
Miles and try to make it in about 5 to 6 hours. Basically straight up there, paved trail.
Here we are at Paradise Camp, where the final two teams will make their approach for the summit of Mount Rainier.
Road tripping with my two favorite allies. Fully loaded, we got snacks and supplies. It's time to leave this town, it's time to steer away.
It's not, you know, I helped him as much as I could. I bought him a computer so he could get back on his feet. I paid for some service.
Yeah, the wind's what's really gonna get you up there. So, and really only when you're sitting.
What are you doing, Hayes?
I'm cooking water.
Because that's what we do.
About the only thing I know how to cook.
How do you like your water?
How you like the water? Picante? I've got some picante in the water.
There's a hot sauce.
There's hot sauce in the water. There's dirt and hot sauce. That's what you get, damn it.
That was that first sign, like, man, you're fried. You're complaining about fluid in his lungs, his hate, altitude, pulmonary edema. That's why I pushed deck, so I wouldn't have done anything.
I didn't realize the helicopter game got it. Y'all walked him down.
No, there's no like procedures.
I didn't realize he was on the summit either. I was thinking like he was
halfway up or something like that.
Let's just say I wasn't exactly 100% mentally alert yesterday, so I probably got half the story.
For sure that's the cathedral, that big square rock we saw from walking. And as it freezes when the sun goes over, it'll crack those rocks, and then that stuff will start coming down. So if we get down late, or by the time we kind of leave, this stuff will just be crashing down on us, which is really cool. So cool.
Oh, I feel so much better after that excitement.
Making big things happen.
I'll let you set up the stuff.
Gotta get this one shot of making it look like I've been helping this whole time.
Well, my buddy Guff needed a hand with getting guys up and down the mountain to support his operation, and I'm that guy for the most part. In here, man, it's tough. It definitely wears on you. It's exhausting. A lot of moving, a lot of carrying heavy weight, and but also a lot of beautiful scenery and a lot of cool people to hang around. I mean, it fills a void that you develop when you're just living a casual life.
They took off. We kind of got back to our gear, got settled in, and the bird had to come back and pick up the other guys.
Yeah, those climbing rangers, like any park I've ever been in, those guys are just so badass.
Yeah, it's like the fucking SF of...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Really impressive. The only thing I wish I would have brought, I mean, I think we brought all the safety net gear we needed, a stove for extra water, which unfortunately was kind of already heading back down the mountain, but we need to bring a mat and a sleeping bag, and I don't think we should leave that summit until everybody gets up there. We know that everybody can get back down.
They never knew what triggered it. Like, he never had one his whole life. And
wow.
Started happening, and all these speculation for what reasons, you know, it could have been, like, whatever, but it's strange.
It's real strange.
I would love that.
Started out in the Army, joined in '91, made my way over to 1st Ranger Battalion, did one tour and got out. Went to school, finally graduated school about 5 years after that, and then joined 20th Group around, I don't know, 1999 or 2000, and subsequently ended up going to the first SFAS first selection after 9/11, which was kind of an interesting experience. October 2001, I was in selection, and then just kind of got rolling and happened to go to Afghanistan 4 days after I left Fort Bragg. A strange turn of events, and then just kept deploying, and then sort of got into contracting a little bit, triple canopy early on, and then gravitated over towards some other parts of that world, and then today I work in the media business. So we were kind of partnered up, not officially, but 2-4 Marines were kind of who we were hanging out with.
Was that the Bastard unit?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were there at the same time.
Yeah, so I mean that was like sketchy as shit. I mean,
Yeah, that was fucking old Wild West
by far
shit.
the most dangerous thing I've ever done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Body 04. Yeah, I mean I've always kind of had like a foot in the outdoor adventure world a little bit, and then somewhere along the line someone kind of said, hey, you got to meet Justin, and I'd seen Veterans Adventure Group, social media stuff, and so just linked up with Justin, and initially it was just kind of like, hey, I'm in the business world now and done a bunch of stuff, if I can help you guys out in any way, or offer any thoughts. And so we had a couple phone calls, and just he was walking me through the vision of what VAG was all about, and which was, to me, probably one of the coolest things I'd heard, just in terms of how the whole landscape of veterans and support groups and people trying to integrate back into life, and there's a lot of disagreement about how that should be done. And so for me, like, the mission of Veterans Adventure Group resonated. One phone call, he was just explaining the Mount Rainier trip, and he's like, hey, we got a couple slots for this summer, and so I just managed to kind of work my schedule around so I could come out here and just kind of like, one, because I wanted to climb Mount Rainier, and two, just to kind of meet everyone and just see like firsthand what it's all about.
What'd you say you forgot over there?
What's going on there, Sean? What you got going on there?
You found the vag.
Found the vag.
Got people pooping over here, forgetting their teepee.
Oh shit.
Welcome.
Yeah, so we're in our third push for Mount Rainier this year. Ultimately, first push, we had 12 out of 12, got to the summit. And we had our little, we had one guy had a seizure on the summit, so that got interesting. They had to have a helicopter come in and get him out. And that made for a long day on the last day of the first push. Second push came up, and we got one team on Ingram on stage, but bad weather came in with a low pressure front, and ultimately the park rangers advised that no one climbed, and that's pretty much what happened. Very few teams went out. No one made the summit that we're aware of that day, so that was a pretty rough one. But then our third group came up, and we got some good weather. We pushed out here to Ingram Flats. The whole team's out here, so this cuts about an hour off of our climb up and gives us about another 1,000 foot of elevation gain. So it's a good position to start from. And thankfully the weather report that we got is really good. It's supposed to be clear, a little bit cold and windy, but that's pretty manageable. So tonight at about 11 o'clock, we're gonna leave here and make our push, hopefully be back down in about 10 hours and kind of roll from there. I was gonna say, if you guys want to start some mountain school stuff, I'm happy to take care of the tent. Now we can just keep things moving, get them rested sooner.
Okay, you guys already got harnesses on, so
yeah, they're already.
Get comfortable, sit down, get relaxed, have a snack, drink some water. Check in with them, we might be able to fill you up a little bit. And I'll start getting these guys ready to get harnesses and kits on.
I know it'd be more convenient if I tied the Prusix to the rope before we left, but I just wanted
If you guys can just pull those extra ice axes off the pack. I'll use those for the tent.
But yeah, you guys have a good 10-15 minutes of just kind of relaxing and ingesting what you need.
Well, that should be like.
It's just after 11 p.m., which makes it super cold and that much harder to get up for the climb. The plan has changed a bit because I wanted to focus on capturing the climbers and not leading the climb. Austin and I was going to get out in front of teams 5 and 6 to serve as a route clearance team, film crew, and serve most importantly as an internal mountain rescue team if either teams need assistance.
Austin, just give me one more check. Roger. Copy. Leave it, Charlie.
They start off pretty light.
Yep, whenever you're ready.
Alright. Ooh, you guys had crevasse crossing too. Crevasse.
Hey Justin.
Yep.
You stopped at 20 feet in front of you, you'll see the grandpa and the first grandpa marks.
Yeah, you're good. I didn't know if you were shooting for that old one or what.
I wouldn't prefer it, but
yeah, I thought that was for you.
Shit, my fault.
These narrow trails can be a quick wake-up call and a reminder to avoid trail complacency. It may feel a bit safer traveling at night to limit the visual exposure, but there is a stealth and eerie reminder of a pre-contact focus that is happening in my mind. And that's exactly what this team's going to need as we approach the most technical section of the climb at the Disappointment Cleaver.
Got a bit of a step coming up.
whenever you're ready,
Doing
take
good.
a break and we'll pass you up.
Let's put that flag up high.
And Brad, I got all that rope. Don't get frustrated with it. I'm going to move to you and take care of you, okay?
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, where we at? Tell me about what we got going on.
We're about 3/4 way up to DC. Got a couple more switchbacks to go, negotiating some rocks. Guys are getting pretty tough. I'm kind of high stepping with short rope and a little bit of ropes hanging down. Definitely kind of wears you out, but every hour we definitely need a little bit of water. You get 100 calories. And then we're going to continue up. You know, like I said, we're about 3/4 of the way up to DC. We'll take a nice long break up top, and then we'll start doing glacier travel from here on out.
How are you feeling?
Yeah,
good?
Sean?
I'm great, man. This is awesome.
What you expected thus far?
Oh yeah. Great team.
All right, we're still on the kind of pendulum. I'm just gonna move up a little bit, Aaron.
All right.
And
All right, I'm over the ladder.
Sir?
Yeah, give me 3 feet and I'll be at the anchor.
Hey guys, you're safe up top. Henning's clipped in.
Once we got through the major crevasse crossing and ladder section, it was smooth sailing, just pushing our limits to the max. Team 6 was the first one on the summit for the day, and this makes my second summit in 4 days.
To complete it and actually probably be able to walk down here.
That was fucking badass.
How you feeling?
I'm good.
Feeling good?
Tired. I'm good.
You feel accomplished?
Oh yeah.
Chapstick time.
Awesome. Great job. Justin, first one on the summit again. That's probably got to be some kind of record.
Yeah, we keep pushing it. I just want to piss off Guff and put the Marine officers on the summit first. So.
And the worst part of the climb for me is getting to Camp Muir, so I get to do it twice.
It's good training.
Yeah, it is, man. It'll be good for when we go to Denali. Seeing lions again after 3 years.
One love.
One love. We're a summit too.
As I look out into the universe, I stand at the highest peak, awaiting the delivery, but it is not shown. There was a disruption, because that what is must be broken.
All right, Brad. You did it.
Feels good, man.
Thanks.
What a climb. I'm so proud and honored to have climbed with these men and women. There are few things that can replicate the intensity and intent of summiting these mountains. It is physically demanding, emotionally revealing, and spiritually connected. Not only did us key leaders make it up the mountain again, but we proved once again that our abilities can stand up to the internal and external demands of summiting Mount Denali. Our teamwork and will to live and thrive is being echoed through the universe, and for what the multiverse will expect from us. I would have to agree with Justin on this one. It does feel that much more special once again to lead these Marines up on top of a mountain.
You know, for me, I think the idea that, so I very much associate with the mission that veterans need to be out doing things and need to be out doing things like this. If mountain climbing's not your thing, you know, get on a surfboard, jump out of a plane with Veterans Adventure Group or something like that, because finding the next mission is, to me, so much more important than kind of worrying about the past and what's happened. And so, when I see the folks that volunteer to run this organization, which is no small feat, it's inspiring when I see all the folks that kind of show up to come out here and try to climb this mountain. Varying degrees of experience, and I think it's just cool. People have got together to come out to Seattle and try this thing out this year, and so it's awesome. I think being around everyone in this environment, what's neat is you don't hear very many war stories. Like, you don't hear very many, sad stories about what happened and people that we lost. And of course, we all think about that all the time, but we're out here for something different, and it's super positive, and I think it's moving everyone forward in the right way. So this is awesome.
It was a tough walk down, but the ride home for me is always my favorite. To see the outcomes, as though I can feel all their thoughts and feelings, from preconceived ideas and expectations of true human result. I have no doubt that the Veterans Adventure Group is deserving and replicating a healthy desire to repurpose, achieve goals, and have redemption. So from the Cascade Mountains of the Pacific Northwest, I wish you all Godspeed and clarity. So as we head into the last adventure of the season, stay tuned in for the final episode of Struggle Beyond the Decade.
But did a gear layout, talked about stuff. The gear layout was kind of funny because he asked me how much food I was going to bring on the mountain, and man, I don't know, I ain't got the legs like I used to. I didn't want to carry any food up there, to be honest with you. But he brought literally a whole delicatessen. This guy had to have gone to 7 different stores to pick up this package of meats and sourdough bread. The guy brought an entire container of mayo up on the mountain. I like mayonnaise like the rest of you, but a whole container of mayo, because he said he had 2,000 calories in the container. I don't know if he ate that whole container of mayo or not.
Man, kick a little something for the cheese and make a few ends of the breeze through 2 in the morning, and the party's still jumping because my mama ain't home. I got bitches in the living room getting it on, and they ain't leaving till 6 in the morning. So what you want to do?
He'll be thrilled. So yeah. And he's still shorter than you too, so I feel like a girl who just got looked at. So.
The guy was well prepared to have salami sandwiches. I mean, no doubt about that.
And what was it like sleeping next to him?
There was no sleeping involved, because there was some kind of comment or noise or sound like every 15 to 30 seconds.
No concept of an inside voice.
Okay. All right. Okay. Aaron, I don't think the moon landing's real.
Oh. Look like you enjoy it, James. Look like you're enjoying it. No, not like that. I'm smiling.
That makes the elevation better.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Good thing. Yeah. 24 hours from now, you guys are all gonna be chilling in a nice warm bed, waking up.
I'm gonna be getting some STD somewhere. No, I'm joking. Joking. Edit that out.
Speaking of which, to be determined. I already shut.
So, my actual real name is Cameron Wallace, and I'm from Indiana. I live in Greenwood, Indiana, and I just wanted to say, number one, thank you to Susan, and she's the lady that owns the property that hosts us. They put beds, they have trailers out here for us to sleep in, campers for us to sleep in. You have 1,000 beds made up. They cook for us the whole time we're here. They just open their doors like we're all her sons, which is awesome. And she's probably the nicest human being that walks this earth, seriously, for how much she does for veterans and everything. And this is my first time experiencing it, but she's been doing it for a number of years now. And then I also, believe it or not, this isn't my real hair. I know it's sad, and I know it looks real, but it's not. I actually look like this behind all of it, which is still pretty sexy, I do believe. But anyway, that's who I really am. So